So this may come as a surprise to you, but when it comes to dog behavior, we are never finished. There is not a time where we can say we have trained our dog and now we can stop. Their behavior is not fixed. It's not like a computer. We can't just program in what we want. We don't just teach them all of the commands we need them to know and then tick that box and say, that's it. My dog is now officially trained and I can rest and relax and I have nothing to do for the rest of my dog's life. You'd think it would be that way, because once you've taught them everything you need to know, what else is there to do? But really, teaching them tricks is only the very tip of the iceberg. Dogs' behavior is driven by emotions more than it is by what they know. And their emotions can be affected by lots of different things. They change constantly throughout the day, you know, depending on who they're with, where they go, what kind of day they've had. All of these things have a big impact on how they feel, and how they feel then has an impact on how they behave. So you might well have taught your dog to do a brilliant recall, but they come into a really stressful environment, suddenly they can't do it anymore because the stress of that environment has affected the way that they behave. Their stress has become more important than the stuff they know. The same thing can happen with different people. So very often when I speak to a client and I ask them about their dog's behavior, maybe out on a walk, if they have a dog walker, I'll ask them, how do they get on with the dog walker? Dog walkers often report very different behaviors to their owners. Dog groomers, vets, all those different people also report different things about dogs' behavior too. So sometimes it can feel like we're talking about different dogs, but really it's all down to that environment, it's down to the people that they're with, and it's down to how we make them feel. So some people might make your dog feel quite anxious, maybe they're quite hyper or excitable, you know, and that might have a negative impact on how your dog feels. And that person then might find that they experience a different kind of behavior to what you do. Maybe you're very calm and settled and slow, and that appeals more to your dog. So they're much more confident when they're with you. They don't react to things the same way. But when your friend comes around, they're all hyper and all over the place and they're bouncy. And you're left thinking, you know, well, what on earth has happened? Because my dog knows how to behave when people come in through the front door. Why is he being like this? And that's just because the person's changed, the energy has changed, and the emotion has changed. And this happens in different places too. So when your dog goes to the vet, the environment has changed significantly. It can actually feel quite daunting walking into a vet's office. You've got a nice sterile floor. There maybe is strange seating arrangements. Your dog's perhaps not used to seeing something like that. The whole waiting room setup actually could be quite stressful. Even the reception desk, because it's quite tall and looming, for a small dog looking up at a person who's leaning over the desk looking at them, that could feel quite intimidating. So already maybe your dog's starting to feel a little bit anxious. We haven't even started to talk about the different kinds of smells or sounds they might experience in that vet place. So by the time they actually get into the vet's office itself and they're actually sitting in front of the vet and they're getting prodded and poked and looked at, you know, they're already kind of, their anxiety levels are rising, and you'll start to see that they're not responding to the same kinds of commands or cues that you're used to giving, that they're good at. Their normal demeanor is changing, so you don't feel like they're going to react to the vet in the same way that they do with you. When you're petting your dog, he's all lovely and licky, but when the vet's touching him, it's a different way. He's already anxious and he's going to start to react differently. So this is why dogs behave differently in different environments, and throughout their whole life different things can affect the way they behave. The different things will affect how they feel and their emotions, which is driving that behavior. So we can never really say that we're done with our dog's behavior. Even as they grow older, their body will change. They'll start to maybe feel more pain. Maybe they'll go through periods of illness, arthritis, that kind of stuff. And that will trigger different emotions too. Pain triggers anxiety, and anxiety affects the way we behave. So for the whole of our lives, really, our dogs are so changeable in how they behave that we can never really say that they're fixed and they're done. This is just an ongoing process we always have to be aware of. And I think that making the mistake of thinking that your dog can ever be truly fixed or finished, or their behavior can be set and settled, is probably a mistake. It means we come off we stop really paying attention, we stop really trying to work on it, we stop watching our dog, stop advocating for our dog. So we need to be aware of all of these changes that are happening constantly, and not just as they grow up, as they become an adult, throughout adulthood, different experiences, and then as they become an adult and their body starts to change and they start to feel pain and anxiety and they get old. So I hope that explained a little bit about, in particular, why dogs behave differently for different people and in different places, and how once we've decided that we think that we have solved a problem, it can still manifest itself in loads of different places. Take care for now. Bye bye.